The concept of introduction to the mystery of Moses Pharaoh pertains to the historical and theological enigma surrounding the identification of the Pharaoh during the biblical era of Moses, as recounted in the book of Exodus. This question is not merely about assigning a name to a historical figure. It is an exploration into the intersection of religious texts, archaeology, and ancient history. The importance of pinpointing the Pharaoh in Moses' time is paramount for understanding the broader historical context of the Exodus narrative, a cornerstone of Judeo-Christian belief systems. Identifying this Pharaoh could bridge the gap between biblical chronologies and ancient Egyptian history, offering insights into the socio-political landscape of the time. A prime example illustrating this mystery is the debate over whether Ramses II or his predecessor, Seti I, was the Pharaoh of the Exodus. Ramses II, known for his extensive building projects and a relatively prosperous reign, fits the biblical description of a powerful ruler. Conversely, some suggest that Seti I, who reigned during turbulent times, may align more closely with the biblical narrative of an oppressive regime necessitating the Exodus. Another example is the archaeological findings in the ancient city of Pi-Ramesses. Some scholars argue this city, mentioned in the Exodus as a storage city built by Hebrew slaves, suggests a timeline aligning with Ramses II's reign. Opinions supporting the exploration of this mystery include those of biblical scholars and archaeologists who assert that identifying the Pharaoh could substantiate the historicity of the Exodus. They argue that correlating biblical events with Egyptian records could offer a tangible historical foundation for religious narratives. However, this topic is fraught with challenges and controversies. Historical records from ancient Egypt rarely mention failures or defeats, which complicates efforts to find corresponding documentation of the biblical plagues or the Exodus itself. Alternative viewpoints include those posited by some historians and skeptics who argue that the Exodus story is a mythical narrative with no direct historical counterpart. These divergent perspectives fuel the ongoing debate, enriching the discourse on this mystery. This point is crucial in unraveling the broader narrative of Moses, the Exodus, and the historical realities of that period. It influences other aspects of the main topic by providing a framework for examining the credibility and origins of ancient religious texts. Understanding the Pharaoh during Moses' time not only impacts theological interpretations, but also engages broader historical inquiries, compelling us to reconsider how we define truth across disciplines. The historical context of ancient Egypt during Moses' era is pivotal for unraveling the mystery of the Pharaoh who reigned at the time of the Exodus. This context encompasses the socio-political, cultural, and theological milieu of Egypt during either the late Middle Kingdom or early New Kingdom, generally estimated to be around the 13th to 14th centuries BCE, although the exact time frame remains debated among scholars. Understanding this era is crucial as it informs us about the power dynamics, religious systems, and historical records of ancient Egypt, shedding light on potential candidates for the Pharaoh during Moses' time. It's a period marked by great architectural achievements, extensive political organization, and profound religious influence, all of which play into the biblical narrative of an enslaved Hebrew populace and an overreaching Pharaoh. Two specific examples illustrate the importance of this historical context. First, the city of Pi-Ramesses, an expansive city believed to have been the capital during Ramses II's reign, supports the hypothesis that Ramses II may have been the Pharaoh of the Exodus. The Bible's reference to the Hebrews building store cities like Ramses aligns with this historical and archaeological discovery. Second, the Merneptah Stele, which dates back to approximately 1208 BCE, is the earliest extra-biblical reference to a people called Israel in Canaan, providing an indirect validation of the biblical account's historical backdrop. Scholars often present varied opinions on this topic. Some support the idea that Ramses II was indeed the monarch during Moses' time, citing biblical and archaeological synchronisms. Others argue for the reign of Thutmose III, or even that the narrative's historical base is more of a theological foundation rather than a literal history. Challenges and controversies abound, particularly concerning the lack of direct Egyptian records referencing the Hebrews' Exodus. Egypt, with its rich history of record-keeping, offers scant clues about the exact details of this period. which frustrates historians and fuels ongoing debates. Integrating this historical context with the main topic influences several facets, from theological interpretations to archaeological pursuits. It informs our understanding of Moses as a figure possibly interacting within these ancient structures of power, and opens discussions on topics like slavery, divine interventions, and cultural memory. By piecing together these historical fragments, the context doesn't just speculate on a name the Pharaoh in Moses' time, but offers a tapestry for understanding a significant episode that resonates through religious and cultural narratives today. Biblical references and interpretations plays a crucial role in the quest to identify the Pharaoh during Moses' time. This concept involves examining the Bible's Exodus narrative and the interpretations that help historians and theologians determine which Egyptian ruler may have been in power at that time. The significance of this point lies in his foundational role in framing and guiding the entire inquiry. Without understanding how the Bible depicts the events of the Exodus and its characters, any attempt to identify the Pharaoh would lack a significant historical context. For example, one interpretation considers the Pharaoh to be Ramses II, largely due to the mention of the city of Pi-Ramesses in the Book of Exodus. Another example is the theory that Amenhotep II was the pharaoh at the time of the Exodus, based partly on timelines established from biblical genealogies and Egyptian historical records. These examples show how biblical references are critical to constructing a timeline that aligns with or challenges historical records. Scholars and theologians have various opinions about the identity of the pharaoh. Some argue for a literal interpretation of biblical events, insisting that King Ramses II fits the time frame and circumstances described. Others propose a more symbolic or allegorical interpretation, viewing the story as a theological text rather than a strict historical account. This divergence in interpretation is significant, as it shapes our understanding of the historical context of the Exodus narrative. The challenges associated with correlating biblical references with Egyptian chronology stem from the lack of direct evidence, such as inscriptions or contemporary records that unambiguously identify the pharaoh in question. Furthermore, controversies arise from the discrepancies within chronological timelines between biblical genealogies and Egyptian history, leading to debates among scholars. Biblical references and interpretations influence other aspects of the main topic by acting as a central pivot for historical, archaeological, and theological analysis. A clear understanding of biblical accounts allows researchers to narrow down archaeological searches in Egypt and formulate theories that may reveal more about this pivotal period. The connection between scripture and history invites ongoing exploration and debate, continuously renewing interest in ancient narratives and their modern interpretations. This not only enriches our historical understanding, but also underscores the complex interplay between religion, history, and archaeology as it pertains to global heritage and cultural identity. Egyptian historical records and Pharaoh's chronology are crucial tools in unraveling the mysteries surrounding the Pharaoh during Moses' time. These historical counterparts consist of a wide array of data sources, including inscriptions, papyri, and monumental engravings that document the reigns of Egyptian pharaohs. The detailed accounts offer insight into the socio-political climate, religious practices, and economies of ancient Egypt. Understanding these records is fundamental to piecing together the puzzle of Moses' era, as they can potentially pinpoint the specific ruler facing the biblical plagues in the Exodus. The significance of this point lies in its potential to anchor the Exodus story within a historical framework, providing a stronger context for biblical events. By examining Pharaoh's chronology, historians and scholars attempt to align the timeline of biblical narratives with actual historical events, thus bridging the gap between theology and historical fact. For instance, the potential identification of Ramses II or Thutmose III as the pharaoh of Moses' time provides tangible roots to biblical tales that have shaped religious beliefs for millennia. Two specific examples highlight the application of Egyptian historical records in this context. First, the Merneptah Stele, which mentions Israel in a defeated context, serves as an archaeological link to the Israelites' presence in ancient Egypt. Second, the records from the reign of Amenhotep II detail massive slave expeditions and construction projects, providing implicit evidence of the Israelites' potential labor contribution during this period. Opinions supporting the examination of Egyptian records often focus on the enrichment of historical understanding and affirming the historical basis of biblical narratives. Scholars argue that integrating historical data with religious texts allows for a holistic understanding of ancient events that shaped modern civilization. However, challenges and controversies abound. The lack of direct reference to Moses or the Exodus in Egyptian records fuels skepticism among some historians. Moreover, the chronological discrepancies between biblical texts and Egyptian records present difficulties in drawing direct parallels. Views differ on whether these accounts should be harmonized or regarded as separate narratives. In essence, Egyptian historical records and Pharaoh's chronology are pivotal in influencing other aspects of identifying the Exodus Pharaoh. Their analysis not only aids in pinpointing the era, but also enriches our understanding of the biblical narrative's historical authenticity. By comparing these records with the biblical text, scholars can explore the confluence between history and scripture, offering fresh perspectives on age-old stories.